Holy hell, the Chicago Bears have done something correctly. They have hired their new head coach, and boy, it is a big fish that they finally got. We got that. We got college football national championship has been decided. We will get into that. We got some other news involving the coaching carousel. We got a little bit of baseball talk going on. You know, a little football off season's coming up, so we're going to slowly transition to more basketball and baseball conversations. And then, of course, we have the NFL Divisional Round playoffs. But Flag on the Take is back. That is for later down the episode. Let's get it. What's up, Jordan?
What's going on, bro? What's going on, people?
Oh, man, we've got a lot of stuff breaking. That's what's going on right now.
Yeah, we do. Let's get into it.
All right, let's get into it indeed. I led off with the Chicago Bears. So before I reveal it, for those who don't know already, the Chicago Bears, they cannot get out of their own way to save their lives. Whether it's the GM, whether it's the owner, whether it's the quarterback, whether it's the coach. And anytime Chicago hires coaches, they don't normally get the 1, 2, or third best candidate. You know? Yep. I mean, look at their last hire. It was Matt Eberflus. I think before that was who? Lovie Smith? And then Mark Trestman, John Fox. Like,
I remember John Fox. I don't remember Mark Trestman.
Exactly. That's the point. So we're talking about bottom of the barrel candidates. And they have a not so bottom of the barrel quarterback, one might say. Actually, quite literally one of the most, if not the most intriguing young quarterback in the NFL. I don't count Lamar, Mahomes, Allen as young quarterbacks.
Yep.
Caleb and Jaden are probably the two most intriguing quarterbacks. So
most definitely.
And despite all the organizational dysfunction, the owner has no idea what the hell he's doing. The GM is managing like his job's on the line, so he's not building for long-term success. He's more of short-term success, and yet somehow the Chicago Bears land Ben Johnson as their new head coach. That's right, the very storied, elite offensive play caller guru some have used. Wizard is another term people have used. They got the big fish. Caleb Williams got his guru to be paired with him. If anyone in the NFL that was logically available could save Caleb Williams, it's Ben Johnson. I am pumped about this hire. What's your take about it?
I'm very excited for it. What I like about it is it's like somebody who like got it out the mud on his own. Like he's not like a McVay or a Shanahan clone.
He's a UNC guy. Shout out.
What I'm saying. Not saying that, like, I'm trying to think who else, like, you got, like, Mike McDaniel or O'Connell. Not saying that they're clones. They're still really good OCs in their own
They had
right.
a fast track. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying. He got it out the mud, man. But he's a really good offensive coordinator. And in the 3 seasons that he's been in Miami, they've averaged, like, over 30 a game?
Detroit, but yeah.
I said Miami, didn't I?
Yep, you're
Detroit.
good.
But 3 seasons in Detroit, yeah, he's averaged over, like, 30 a game.
They just casually had the number 1 offense this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, I think this is going to be good for Caleb Williams. You know, last season, number 1 pick, a lot of expectations on him. Everybody's thinking Bears never had a 4,000-yard passer. This is going to be the year. Turns out they had the most incompetent head coach we've seen in a long time, especially considering the talent that they had on their roster. I think Ben Johnson's going to do a lot better with that. Because, again, Jared Goff is a talented quarterback. Don't get me wrong. But as far as, like, the ceiling for Caleb Williams is going to be a lot higher than like a safe floor with Jared Goff. You know what I'm saying?
And let's call a spade a spade. Jared Goff was punching above his weight this season.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. He's punching above his weight the last 2 seasons, if I don't say so myself.
And that's because of who?
Ben Johnson, which is why I think that this is going to be great for Caleb Williams, especially considering the Bears' weapons. You still got DJ Moore. You still got DeAndre Swift. You still got Cole Kmet. You're going to be straight.
And I kind of want to circle back into what you were saying about how Ben Johnson kind of got it out the mud, because we know his backstory. For those listening might not know it. So Ben Johnson was a former quarterback, walked on at North Carolina. Now, granted, wasn't good. I'm not going to sit here and say that he like set these records or started all these years or whatever, but he walked on and made the team as a walk-on. That's never easy. And then so he becomes a GA. And mind you, this is a guy who graduated with a degree in computer science. So, insanely intelligent, might not have the best social skills, but insanely intelligent. But that's how him and the Detroit Lions became a perfect marriage, because he came with the knowledge and the scheme guru. I believe he was a quarterback coach. He was a GA, then became a quarterback coach, and then offensive coordinator is how he got here.
Yep.
But He had the knowledge. He just needed to know how to lead men. And who else is a better leader of men than Dan Campbell?
Yeah, there's not many coaches in the NFL. I put him in as far as just like, I'm not saying that it's same caliber, but it's just as far as you know, like type of coach, like players coach. I put him in like the Mike Vrabel, Mike Tomlin,
Jim Harbaugh. I'd run through a brick wall head first for Dan Campbell. No questions asked.
Yeah.
So Ben Johnson's been very open about how the reason he stayed with the Lions is A, he wanted the ideal situation, but B, he felt like he wasn't ready as a leader, but he felt like this year as a leader, he was ready, and he attributes all of that to Dan Campbell, which I love. And Ben Johnson, I've seen some behind-the-scenes stuff of him. He seems like he's got a little bit of moxie to him now, so I'm very excited about that. I do think – so riddle me this, right? If the Bears fired Eberflus last season – before they drafted Caleb, but got another bottom-of-the-barrel coach. Like, what do you think would have been better for Caleb? To get a bottom-of-the-barrel coach to stick out for 2 or 3 years, or have an Urban Meyer year, but now gets the guy, like his second year? Like, do you take the risk of... Because his rookie year got completely screwed up.
When you say Urban Meyer year, we're comparing this to Eberflus being Meyer, right? In this
correct. Okay. Just besides the inappropriate stuff, but... So what I was saying is, like, because Caleb was a generational college kid like Trevor Lawrence. So you take the risk with the Meyer year because the rookie year is the most important. So you risk ruining the talent, but you get the guy in there. So I want to know your opinion. What do you think is better for a quarterback? Right out the gate being with a middle of the road, like bottom of the barrel coach, but you're with him for 2 to 3 years, so you get to learn and like grow in this system? Or is it better to have an Urban Meyer year in your rookie year and flush it, and then have like the top end guy?
I'm gonna say, well, quarterbacks need to develop anyway.
Because look what happened with Trevor Lawrence. He had a Meyer year, and they got a guru in Doug Peterson, but he was never able to be saved.
That's where I was gonna go with that. Actually, I'm very glad that you brought that up. So as we know, quarterbacks need to develop, and in the NFL now, the game is changing. They don't like their quarterbacks to develop. They just want to throw them out there, and they'd be Justin Herbert or Baker Mayfield his first year. That's an outlier. You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't always happen.
Jaden Daniels.
But everybody wants that to happen, and that's not the case. I feel like I wouldn't like the Urban approach because, like, even if you get the guy next year, it's no guarantee that your quarterback's confidence is salvageable. Looking at Bryce Young turned it on at the end of this year, yes, but just considering what he's been going through, I feel like you got to be a certain type of person to bounce back, because everybody knows in sports, once it doesn't matter what position you play, once your confidence is shot, it's really hard to get it back. I don't think that's good for a young quarterback going into the NFL. I'd say I'd rather have like a lower tier coach that's still kind of stable. That way you can just navigate through that for maybe 2 years and then get somebody who's like the guy, instead of having like a dumpster fire year, because you never know if your quarterback's going to recover from that dumpster fire year.
So you would rather have had like a Brian Callahan, for example, like the new Titans head coach. I consider him middle of the road / bottom of the barrel because only the Titans wanted him, so that alone is a red flag to me. So you would rather have had Caleb like with Brian Callahan like right out the gate for 2 to 3 years, and Callahan eventually gets fired, rather than having Eberflus for 1 year and then getting Ben Johnson?
I think it also depends on the team. Think about it, because if it's the Panthers, I don't think Ben Johnson would fix anything that they got going on.
Or the Raiders.
Yeah, I think it just depends on the team. Now the Bears already are loaded up. They just need a coach
and a no line. That's literally all they need.
So it's a different situation.
So actually, speaking of the Raiders, so it was down to the Raiders and the Bears, but literally he said, well, he didn't say, but this was what was reported. Literally the only reason he even considered the Raiders was because of Tom Brady's influence. So he said before Brady, he said before Brady, he wasn't even considering the Raiders. Yeah, so Brady at least got him in the door. Yeah. So where do the Raiders go from here? Because Brady wanted Ben Johnson bad.
As far as head coach or just...
Yeah. I'm sure them not having a quarterback was the difference maker.
Depending on, we'll talk about it a little later, but depending on what's happening in the college landscape, they might go and get a Marcus Freeman or a...
Oh, boy.
You know we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it.
But they might go to college route.
I don't see any college coaches making the jump because Sark signed his extension. He's not going anywhere. Marcus Freeman's too hot of a candidate, no pun intended, to jump ship.
It's crispy.
Did you see the video of him walking in with the suit? We're not getting into it. We're not getting into it. But I don't see anyone jumping ship. So, but where do the Raiders go from here? Because, all right, I'll drop this news and then we'll talk about the Raiders because I feel like this will be shorter. According to multiple sources, it's pretty much cut and dry. Shoot, by the time this comes out and people listen to it, it might already be official. But it's pretty cut and dry that Aaron Glenn is going to go to the Jets.
Yeah.
So that's gone. So Jets are out. So that leaves Raiders, Saints, and Jags, I believe.
I think the way the Jets are built that they need a defensive coach. It's just like, I wonder if their fans are getting tired of just having a defensive coach every year.
I think they just need someone stable. And Aaron Glenn used to play for them, so he knows what he's getting into.
Yeah.
I still think Rex Ryan would have been a great hire, but that's neither here nor there. Oh, and the Cowboys, too. Oh, God, forgot about them.
Yeah.
But, all right, so let's say hypothetically Aaron Glenn's gone. Where do the Raiders go from here? There's no, like... I personally am really high on the Bucs offensive coordinator, Liam Cohen, but I'm not hearing much of his name out there. So, I don't know who Brady has. I know Brady wants an offensive guy because I know they want to draft a quarterback, which they're going to have to sell the farm to move up. Or get somebody, reach on somebody, but we'll talk about that later. But, I mean, I don't know where the Raiders go. I don't know who the hell would ever want the Saints job. I mean, that is atrocious. The roster is one of, if not the oldest in the league. They're $80 million in the hole in the salary cap, so they can't even sign players. Derek Carr is okay. That job is horrible.
I know. Oh my gosh, what is his name?
Rizzy?
I can't think. I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but I think it will. Only because he just had a head coaching job. I feel like he'll get another chance, or it might be as a coordinator.
Big Mike Saleh?
Yeah.
Bob Saleh?
Listen. I'm not saying I would hire him as a head coach, but the fact that he's already been interviewed by a couple of teams, including the Jags.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
I think it has a shot.
Dude, Bob Saleh didn't get a fair shake, in my opinion. That's just me.
I'm not going to say I think he'd be the greatest coach, but I think he'd be okay if he was given better circumstances.
I think Big Mike McCarthy's going to get one of these jobs.
Oh, my. I'd rather take him as I don't know.
Mike McCarthy is high floor, low ceiling. Like, Mike McCarthy's going to win 10, 11 games, and he's going to get to the playoffs.
You know I'm not a Mike McCarthy fan.
But I don't think he's getting you to, like, the AFC Championship game.
No, I think A-Rod made his career. I'm not saying he's a bad coach.
I mean, he won 12 games three straight years in Dallas besides this year. I mean, that's...
Yeah, but Dallas was doing that before him, too.
Yeah, that's a lot of distractions. I don't know. I'm higher on people just because I've heard a lot of positive testimony on Mike's behalf. Mm-hmm. And I do think with all the crazy shit coming out in Dallas, the fact he was still able to right the ship. I think the thing that really put Mike over for me was that Dallas lost Dak Prescott and then still went on a 6-game win streak or 5-game or whatever it was. Like, my point is the guys didn't give up on him when they knew he was in his final year and they knew they didn't have their quarterback. And they didn't give up on him. So that, to me, is a sign of a great coach. Whether his offense is good or not, he can motivate men.
There's another one that's out there that's kind of under the radar. I was wondering how you feel about it.
Who?
Giants coordinator Mike Kafka.
Oh, God.
Apparently, he's supposed to be going through this. He's having a second interview with the Saints, so that's looking likely.
That would be some Saint shit.
That just seems like another Dennis Allen to me.
Did you hear, speaking of Dennis Allen, did you see where he ended up?
Mm-mm.
He ended up on his feet in Chicago. He's going to be the defensive coordinator there with Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, Ben.
Yeah, can we replace Terrell Austin, please?
If I was Ben Johnson, I would have sold the farm to get Bob Saleh to be my defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Saleh's an elite defensive coordinator. Say what you want.
No, he is. Do you remember what he did with San Fran? I'm not saying he's not.
How could I forget?
That's why I was saying I don't know if I would hire him as a head coach. I would definitely hire him as a coordinator.
So, Ben Johnson got Dennis Allen. Lou Anarumo went to the Colts, I saw. Oh, Eberflus went to the Bengals. That was funny. Thank God the Bengals are going to suck again.
Yeah.
But
as their defensive coordinator, I'm assuming.
Yeah. But, okay, so if Mike Kafka goes to the Saints, Big Mike McCarthy's, he could go to the Raiders. I can see Brady wanting to bring him in to, like, he knows he doesn't have a high ceiling, but he's like, Mike, I need you to just stable everything. We're paying 5 coaches not to coach for us. Please, for the love of God, just right the ship for us.
Might help with a young quarterback too, especially if they get like a Shador.
They're gonna have to. No, we're gonna get into that later. We're gonna get into that because I heard some things about Will Howard, so we'll get into that later.
Oh,
All right.
no.
All right.
Let's just keep going. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Let's get into some baseball talk. Put
Yep.
this at the front of the show just because it's gonna be short-ish, just because it's mostly free agent news. Put on the record that I am a lifelong diehard Orioles fan. I am an absolute baseball nerd. I love the sport of baseball. So I will be covering baseball throughout the year. How much Jordan contributes, we'll see.
For y'all, yeah. Let's just keep going.
So the Orioles let Santander walk. I mean, we saw this coming considering they signed Tyler O'Neill, but to see him go to an in-division rival really, really sucked. 5 years, $90 million for Tony Taters. Tony, it was an overpay to say the least.
Put this in football terms for me.
Okay, so how do I wanna? Okay, so like a deep threat wide receiver, like a wide receiver who either scores a 60-yard touchdown or he just doesn't get open.
Okay, so Marquise Brown.
Okay, so 30 years old, hits free agency, and then the team replaces him with like a Wes Welker, kinda.
Okay.
Like doesn't
like prime Wes Welker or like...
Yeah. Like a guy who hits the occasional deep threat, but mostly is known for like intermediate stuff and is like younger, roughly. They brought him in on a 3-year deal, so you're paying. So what? 5 for 90 in football would be like. What would you say is like middle of the road for a receiver?
For a receiver?
Yeah.
I'd say at least nowadays probably like
20
yearly,
mil?
like annually.
Yeah.
Nah, I think 20 is like upper echelon. I'd probably say like
18?
14 to 18.
Okay, we'll say 18. So you're paying 30-year-old Hollywood Brown 5 years, 18 per, fully guaranteed.
Aye.
Yeah. So Santander, he hit 44 home runs last year, which was a career high, top 5 in baseball, but he only hit 240, so he strikes out a lot. He's a below average defender, and I think I'm faster than him on the base paths, and he's already 30.
Aye.
So
Okay.
as long as his
That's a good
bat sticks, the contract will pan out. I've been saying that the first 2 years, he'll definitely be worth the money, but I'm worried in year 3 and beyond he could fall off. Because once the home runs stop, he's not gonna be worth a shit.
Yeah.
So just imagine you're paying 30-year-old Hollywood Brown 5 years, 18 per, fully guaranteed.
What's usually the drop-off age in baseball?
It depends on how good you are. Like some guys, it's as early as 32. Other guys, it could be 34, 35, 36. Our guys, it's normally earlier. That's why I said like the first 2 years he'll be money, but then like year 3, 4, and 5, he might not be worth a shit.
Yeah.
It sucks because he was a fan favorite here in Baltimore, but I'm glad we didn't give him 5 for 90. I would have been pissed. That just seems like way too long. So, all right, to put in perspective why the Blue Jays would massively and willingly overpay him, who's a team that's in on every single big free agent or trade candidate but always comes in like second place? Like who comes to mind? Like always just misses out on the big fish in terms of players.
Probably say until recently. Honestly, I might say the Cowboys.
Okay, so they're in on like every single like big name, and then they just always come in second place in terms of getting them. That's
Yeah, because I feel like because think about the fact that Jerry is always like pulling out at the last moment.
All right, so think of this. So this is like the Cowboys trying to get a big threat on offense, desperate for a big threat, and they've tried to get like 4 or 5 other players for substantially bigger contracts, but they're younger and more worth it. But they couldn't get it, and now they're panicking, and they were like, F it, we need to guarantee we get somebody in here. So we're going to drastically overpay so we can guarantee we get somebody, because if not, the fan base will riot. So imagine the Cowboys they have CeeDee Lamb, but they're extremely desperate for another weapon, so they miss out on all the big names in free agency and trade, and they give 30-year-old Hollywood Brown 5 years, 18 mil per,
That
fully
definitely sounds
guaranteed.
like a Cowboys thing to do.
But that's what Toronto missed out on Juan Soto and like a bunch of other massive name free agents over the past few years. They've always been second place. It's actually comical how many times they've come in second place. So it feels like they drastically overpaid on Tony just so they
Is
can
it a
guarantee.
monetary thing or is it just a?
Yeah, it's a Canada thing.
Okay.
Like people don't want to pay U.S. and Canada taxes.
Oh,
So like,
heck no.
so like if you, so like someone like a team in Florida that has no state income tax, giving someone 5 for 90 is going to make significantly more money than a team in Toronto giving someone 5 for 90.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that. Plus Toronto's like a sinking ship. How do I want to describe it? So
Is
Toronto,
it different if you're a citizen or no?
I have no idea to be honest,
Okay.
but Toronto in football, it's like a team that like has had a bunch of like big name like draft picks and like they're good, but the team always just underperforms for some reason. It's kind of like the Jets the past couple years. Like they're pushing all their chips in the middle because they want to compete one more time before they nuke the roster. So that's why they brought in Tony.
Okay,
But
that makes sense.
in other free agent news, Tanner Scott, Roki Sasaki, Kirby Yates. I'm sure I'm missing a whole bunch of other people. Went to the Dodgers the past couple weeks. The Dodgers are signing quite literally everyone. They have over $1 billion in deferrals, which is bullshit. So that's pretty much the free agent news. The Orioles, I still think are going to trade for a starter. I still think Ryan Mountcastle's going to get shipped out for a starter. I don't know who it's going to be. I'm thinking Luis Castillo. I would love to get George Kirby. I would cry tears of joy if we got George Kirby. But I think that's just about it for baseball. A lot of the big pins have already dropped. So that would be like beating a dead horse because everyone already knows this news. But that's just my 2 cents. I'll be releasing a TikTok going more in depth about Tony. But I didn't even touch the Dodger stuff. I was just pissed off and have the same opinion as everyone else. So I'm like, I'm not even going to touch it. But yeah, so that's talking baseball. We'll talk more of it as pitchers and catchers report February 12th or 13th, depending on your team. And then as spring training rolls on, we'll definitely get more into that. But that's baseball talk for now. Do you want to get into the Natty?
Yeah, we can get into the Natty.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
So, you go for it. You can go for it.
Oh, cool. Okay. So last week, anybody who watched the show know we were talking about the college football playoff, as we always do, as we have been for the past couple of weeks. And going into the national championship, it was Ohio State University versus Notre Dame. Cole called it would be a blowout. I didn't think it was going to be a blowout. People, it in fact was a blowout. Cole and I were texting during the game. Cole was saying that it's going to be 28-7 before Notre Dame touched the ball again. Because
Which it was.
OSU, yeah, I was about to say OSU was just rubbing their nutsack on them, and it was. But just tell me some takeaways you had from this game.
So, which is kind of ironic that I said on here that it was going to be a blowout, but then on TikTok, I let my Ohio State bias get in the way, and I picked Ohio State to win, but Notre Dame to cover, which actually wasn't that bad because it closed at 8.5, and they only lost by 11, which they would have lost by 8 if they didn't kick that last-minute field goal, assholes.
Yep.
Anyways, so I watched the game up until 31-7, then I just kept tabs on it, just like everyone else in the country did. But I mean, we got to talk about it. We've made so many jokes about him, but Will Howard has developed as a passer.
The fact that they were using him on keepers, my mind was blown.
Absurd.
I couldn't believe it. I guess they took a page out of Riley Leonard's book because we were talking about it. Riley Leonard had 9 carries on that first drive alone, and I was like,
also absurd.
No way that that's sustainable. I was watching the game with my dad. He was saying the same thing. Like he is not Derrick Henry. Please stop giving that boy the ball.
But we gotta talk about Will Howard's development as a passer. Like we like to make jokes about him, but these playoffs, ever since they lost to Michigan, he looks like Joe Flacco's Super Bowl run, like type locked in.
Yeah, exactly.
So
before we get into that, I would also like to say that First Take is stupid, and this is why I don't really watch them anymore. Did you see what they were talking about?
No, but
okay.
I'm sure I'm gonna love to hear this.
So I know that a lot of people aren't OSU fans, and you have a lot of people that are OSU fans. You either love them or you hate them, right?
Essentially.
So I don't know who thinks of these topics to talk about on these sports shows, but one of the topics was whether Ohio State would still win the Natty if it was or even been in the Natty, or made the playoff if it was a 4-team, still 4-team playoff.
That's not that bad.
No, obviously not. It's like, it's a stupid what if, because that's not the case anymore. And they were number 8 going in.
They wouldn't have made it.
Yes, like that's what I'm talking about. As far as just like it being stupid that of course they lost 2 games. They wouldn't have made it. And I don't even remember what the rankings were at the time, so I don't know who would have made it in the top 4. But I feel like ESPN gets bored when they come up with these topics.
Oh, dude, their stuff in like July is so brutal.
Dog,
it is so brutal.
Why even the what if? Why don't you just talk about the actual Natty? Oh, they wouldn't have made the playoff if it wasn't well, obviously, you could say that about 25 other teams as well.
Dude, I mean, they talk about some ridiculous shit like in July. They're like, who's got a better hairline? Like, what?
James Brown or Stephen A. Smith?
That's what I'm saying. Like, they get into the most like absurd stuff. Like, who is more muscular? Like, what?
Yeah.
And they always talk about the same 3 things over and over again. That's why I don't watch ESPN unless it's Pat McAfee show. But even then, I just watch it on his YouTube because I'd rather support him directly than them.
Yeah, but exactly. Let's get back to talking about Will Howard.
So, all right. So, I mentioned how Will Howard these playoffs has been on a Joe Flacco type playoff run. But we got to acknowledge that he's actually like his development as a passer like throughout the year. Like I know he's still making boneheaded errors, but like he's looked a lot better at the end of the season to the beginning.
He looked a lot better in this playoff. I mean, like even in the beginning of the game, I remember they were saying something like he had completed like 16 straight passes, even going back to like the game against Penn State.
Yeah.
Or not Penn State. Shoot, who did they play last?
Oh, they played Texas.
Yeah, there we go, against Texas.
Yeah, I mean, Will Howard is definitely, and he's gotten, I don't want to say he's gotten more mobile, but like he's proved that he can move if necessary. You know what he's reminding me a lot of? He's reminding me so much of Bo Nix from last year. Like, still made some dumbass errors that cost them games, but like you can see throughout the season like their progression as a passer, and they got linked up with some great weapons and a new OC who was helping make better play calls. And look, I've started hearing grumblings that Will Howard's going to test himself into the end of the first round.
Yay! No, don't tell me
because of how weak the class is.
Don't tell me that, bro. And I swear to goodness, it better not be the Steelers. It better not be.
No, if that was the case, the Steelers would draft Ibuka and then try to get Will Howard in the second round if they were going to take that route.
Milroe, if you're going to take anybody. Oh my gosh, I don't even want to talk about it. It's going to make me sick.
Is Quinshon Judkins going to the draft this year?
I don't know if he declared or not, but I would take him second round.
Dude, Judkins and Henderson both could go in the second round.
Yeah.
They both, and Judkins with 3 touchdowns. He balled out in a massive game.
Yeah, he did.
And Ibuka, that dude's going to be a star. Kirk Herbstreit was talking about it, and he brought up a great point. Ibuka's going to be the perfect pro because you got to think, his entire time at OSU, he's been wide receiver too, whether it's JSN, whether it's Marvin Harrison, whether it's JJ Smith. And he still has the most catches in Ohio State history as wide receiver too. And he's never once bitched. He's never once asked to transfer. He's never once asked for more NIL money. He just worked, and he blocks his ass off.
He's just a dog with hands, man.
So don't be shocked if Ibuka is like Ladd McConkey, like a second round pick that just goes nuts rookie year. So I'm going to keep tabs on that. I really hope you guys don't get him because Kirk brought up a good point about that.
I've seen a lot of mocks and stuff's taking him in the first. I don't want him first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but...
I mean, I can see him testing himself into the first round.
Yeah.
But Ryan Day, this has to feel so good for Ryan Day. Finally get that pressure off his shoulders. Yeah. Did you see the golf cart crash?
No, I didn't. What happened?
Dude. If you're listening right now, look it up. It is one of the funniest things you will see all day. So you know how normally the winning coach, quarterback, and like star player get a golf cart ride to the presser?
Yeah.
The amount of confidence on this woman's face as she whips it around the corner, like staring at the wall, trying to like hammer down to like, for some reason she thinks if she goes faster, she won't hit the wall. And she just watches herself ram right into the wall.
Jeez.
Breaks the wheel right off the axle.
Oh my gosh.
You'll have to look it up, bro. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so the Natty was a game. I mean, shout out Notre Dame for not giving up till the end.
I feel like these last couple of Natties been blowouts.
Did Michigan blow out Washington?
I'm pretty sure it got bad towards the end.
Either way, yeah. But in terms of Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman's staying. He's not. The only team that was linked to him was the Bears, and they just filled their head coaching spot, so he's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there was one piece of baseball news I forgot to bring up. I meant to ask your opinion on this.
Mm-hmm.
So Paul Skeens is like Jaden Daniels. He was this rookie.
Yeah, I've heard of Paul Skeens.
Came out of nowhere, and he won Rookie of the Year and like almost won like Pitcher of the Year.
Oh,
the
that's
Cy Young.
Livy Dunn's boyfriend.
Yeah. So you know who she is, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
So baseball, every time a player debuts, they have a little like thing on their jersey. I guess a patch.
Mm-hmm.
And
to signify that they're a rookie, or
it's like their debut. So then when they're done, they take it off the jersey and then they put it in a trading card. It makes it a 1 of 1, and the player signs it or whatever.
Right.
So Paul Skeens' card has been out there for months, right? Mm-hmm. And listen to what the Pirates. So obviously a card like this, if you pull it, you can auction it for millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. So the Pirates are trying to get it back for Paul Skeens. So they put out this trade offer before it even got pulled. Now, before I tell you what the auction is, I'm going to read to you what the Pirates are offering.
Is this as far as like the price?
For the card.
Okay.
So the Pirates, if you pull this 1 of 1, you get 2 season tickets directly behind home plate for the next 30 years. Mm-hmm. Meet and greet with
30.
Meet and greet with Skeens. 2 autographed Paul Skeens jerseys. You get to host a softball game at their stadium with coaching from Pirates alumni. You get a private tour of the spring trading facilities, and you get other unique experiences at the stadium. You get to take batting practice and warm up with the team on multiple occasions. And the sweetener on top, Livy Dunn threw in that you get to watch any game of your choice with her in her private suite.
Whoa, that's kind of weird.
Would you rather have that or have the bidding start at $2 million?
Yo, I knew it was going to be a pretty penny, bro. I knew it was going to be a pretty penny. Man, let me try to pull that card, man.
Man, I don't give a damn. Give me the $2 to $3 million.
Sheesh.
Them season tickets are not going to put like my kids through college or buy me a new house, buy me a new car.
But it's press box with Livy Dunn.
Man, I'm engaged. I don't give a damn.
Man, nah, bro, give me that too.
Man, $2 to $3 million is gonna set me up for life.
That's like those. No, I know you've seen it before. You remember when that? It wasn't a meme, but it was like a joke going around where it's like dinner with Jay-Z or like 2M's. Give me 2M's.
Yeah, screw Jay-Z.
Dinner with Jay-Z.
Yeah, right. I could give a damn. But here's where things get interesting, right? So the card got pulled today. Guess how old the person was that pulled the card?
Probably so old. I'm going to say like 76, 78.
11 years old.
It was either young or old.
So what the hell happens now?
He turns into Macaulay Culkin.
That's a massive decision to make. Like, do you let the parents make that decision? Like, because the kid doesn't understand what $2 to $3 million is. The kid is like, holy shit, I get to meet Paul Skeens and Livy Dunn. I want to do that.
You can meet Paul Skeens and Livy Dunn if you have the 2
I know. But like, you got to think from an 11-year-old's perspective. They don't understand the value of money. So they'll be like, man, I'd rather just meet Paul Skeens and Livy Dunn.
Listen,
get to go to Pirates games for 30 years.
His parents are making the decision.
We want 2 to 3 M's
his
now.
Parents are making the decision. They probably snatched it out of his hand.
But yeah, so that was breaking news out of the baseball world. I meant to do that earlier.
Nah, that's cool. Yeah, nah.
And the kid lives in California, so he's not even a Pirates fan.
Boy, they snatched that out of his hands as soon as they got there, boy. Oh, thank you.
But yeah, give me the 2 to 3 million. Love Paul Skeens, but unless he directly is gonna pay me 2 to 3 million, I'll give Paul a hometown discount, 1.5.
Look, they took that card. They took that card from the kid. They're about to hire Rich Paul as manager. Personal finance.
That card's not going on eBay. That's gonna be direct negotiations, like a hostage exchange. Send the wire, and I'll release the hostage.
Yo.
But okay, that's actually everything that's up with the baseball world. I meant to bring that up earlier. All right, moving on. All right, we will go in chronological order like we always have, for better or worse. I just want to start by saying, Clay Martin, count your effing days, buddy. What kind of reffing job? Did you watch this game?
Which one?
The Chiefs and Texans.
I watched part of it. I didn't watch the whole thing.
Did you see the bullshit calls?
Was it the one where like I heard about like Mahomes flopping on the sideline or whatever?
Bro, so that's not even the problem. Like, yes, Mahomes flopped, but they didn't call it. Bro, Mahomes slid, and the Texans players hit each other in the head, and they called it a unnecessary roughness on Mahomes. Yes, the Texans got flagged 15 yards for hitting each other on top of Mahomes. Didn't even touch him. Oh, I was so furious.
I'm not surprised at all.
And then Will Anderson led with his head within a reasonable amount of time, hit his helmet in Mahomes' chest, but it got within like the vicinity of his face mask, roughing the passer, and that led to a Chiefs touchdown. When the drive, it would have been 4th down. It's actually absurd. Like, these refs actually, like, they should not be allowed to do playoff games, especially Chiefs games, until further notice. It is absurd. No, they ain't make a statement on it. They're going to defend their zebras no matter what. But Clay Martin, count your days, buddy. I do think in the offseason, though, every single 15-yard penalty needs to be automatically reviewed. Just like a turnover, just like a touchdown. Every single 15-yard penalty needs to be automatically reviewed because both of those calls would have been overturned easily.
Yeah. I think as long as it's not like pass interference that's getting... you said every 15. Well, no, 15 is just in college, but as long as it's not pass interference...
No. That's why I said 15. So it would be like unnecessary roughness, roughing the passer, unsportsmanlike conduct, stuff like that. Because roughing the passer is not roughing the passer. Pass interference is technically a spot foul. Mm-hmm. So it's not a 15-yarder.
Yeah, no, only in college. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And I'm not saying to like they need to buzz in and be like, "Hey, drop a flag." It's more like a flag was thrown, we will look at it. Mm-hmm. Not like, "Oh, that definitely should have been a penalty. Let's make it a penalty." It's more like, "Oh, you called this a penalty. Let's see if it actually is."
Yeah.
That's what I think they should do. And I've heard a lot of rumblings about it, so I hope they actually go through with it. But
if that's the case, I think this would be the thing that sparks it.
Yeah. And like, would that have won the Texans the game? No. The defense didn't come up clutch. The CJ Stroud didn't come up clutch. The special teams was horrific. So, I mean, they didn't cover Travis Kelce at all. I still think he's ass now, but not ass, but that's just bias. But I do think... I
also don't want to see another Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl.
Hey, right now I'm rocking ABC. Anyone but the Chiefs.
It'd be nice if the Bills went. Bills and Commanders.
Dude,
nice.
Bills and... I'm worried about... You know what? I've said all I've said about the Chiefs and Texans about how it's bullshit. Do you want to add anything to it, or you want to go right to the Commanders?
Let's go right to the Commanders.
All right. Commanders, here's the thing. I'm rooting for them full-throated, but if they make it to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, they might get killed because the Chiefs have the devil magic on their side.
They do. I think it's... I mean, don't get me wrong. The Commanders are going to compete against anybody that they play against. Just the fact that the Chiefs have always had like the refs on their side, and they just again, I can't say it's always just the refs because the Chiefs have been there, done that for the past 5-6 years. I'm not going to say that it's just it's just the refs and that's just it. I mean, they know how to win in playoffs. It is what it is,
Anyone but the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, I need a hero. Come on. Yeah, do the Lord's work, Josh Allen. But the Commanders, I mean, they're the ultimate definition of a why not us team. I mean, literally the Commanders just need to make it either have the lead or have it as a one-score game going into the fourth quarter, and they will win. It's actually absurd how clutch Jaden Daniels is.
I know.
As a rookie.
Yeah, most wins by a rookie since Big Ben, and I think he's going to exceed that if he does what he needs to do.
Well, Big Ben, mind you, he came in halfway through the season. He wasn't even the full-time starter that year.
Yeah. Wasn't that the Maddox year? Ugh, couldn't stand Maddox.
It was Bill Carr's final year. But Jaden Daniels, I mean, this is easily the best season of a rookie quarterback ever. We thought C.J. Stroud's was. This is the greatest rookie season ever.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because the Commanders weren't even supposed to be that good this year. Remember, like, if they got the 10 wins, that was supposed to be, like, considered a successful season. Now they're in the freaking NFC Championship game. It's actually crazy how well that team is playing. I'm just kind of scared to see what they're going to be next year.
I'm happy for Commanders fans, just as far as like what they've been through, as far as like
they've been tortured for so long.
Not just them sucking, but just like their ownership stuff. I know that it just has to feel like a weight is lifted off their shoulders that their franchise is going in the right direction. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, if Dan Snyder still owned the team, that kick would have bounced out. Jaden Daniels would have tore his ACL against the Falcons, if you remember that sack.
Yeah.
Like, all that stuff would have went horribly wrong. But no, that curse is lifted. This new owner's bringing new juju, and holy shit, the Commanders are on fire.
Mm-hmm. They're my Eagles, pick right now. I would like them to go all the way. I think I'm riding high on them.
Oh, yeah. I would love it if they won it all. But can you imagine, like, the first season as new owners? winning the Super Bowl, and then B, going from the second overall pick to the Super Bowl champion, also absurd.
Yeah.
And then C, like, if I'm the Eagles, I'm shaking in my boots, especially because you've already played them twice, so they know you know them, so anything's possible. If I'm Eagles, I'm nervous.
The thing about the Eagles is it's a good thing that they draft well, which is why their roster is so stacked. But how many of their players are coming up on contract years? I just don't know how much longer they'll have this stacked roster year after year.
I know AJ and Devontae are locked in. Saquon and Jalen are locked in. I'm sure some of the O linemen are probably due soon. I'm sure some of the
Secondary's probably due soon.
No, they got Quinyon and Cooper DeJean. They're probably set there.
That's as far as them being drafted, but I just mean like free agents.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm sure someone on the D line's due soon. Like I'm sure they'll have some people they
Jordan
gotta let
Davis
go.
has to be due soon, right?
Jordan Davis was the Kyle Hamilton draft.
Kyle Hamilton's due soon, so definitely Jordan Davis is then.
Yeah, because I remember Jordan Davis was who I thought we were getting, but Kyle Hamilton was who I wanted.
Yeah.
So when
Kyle Hamilton ready to make 20 a year.
If I'm Steve Bisciotti, I am writing pay to the order of Kyle Hamilton, signing it and handing it to him.
Yeah.
Right, however much you want. You got it. You want $40 million a year? Fill it in.
Crazy.
And cash.
40's a little crazy. 40's a little crazy.
Dude, I don't think you understand how significant he is.
Oh,
to
no,
our
he was.
defense.
Because as soon as y'all moved him back to where he was supposed to be, your defense took off.
Not only like is he physically talented, but mentally, I cannot stress how mentally talented Kyle Hamilton is. That's what makes him such an elite player. But anyways, we're getting off track here. Anyways, the Commanders stunned the Lions. I feel gut wrenched for Lions fans, but hey, Lions fans, this is what happens when you are a good team. You have heartbreaking playoff losses. Okay, their loss to the Commanders reminded me so much of the Ravens losing to the Titans in 2019.
It reminded me of the Steelers losing to the Jags in 2017.
See, Lions fans, everyone has a loss like that. It's okay. Just take your lumps and move on.
Yeah.
But
it's hurt, though, because I didn't know who I wanted to root for.
See, I was rooting for the Commanders initially because I was worried the Lions were going to blow them out. I wanted it to be a good game. So I rooted for the Commanders for the first 3 quarters, and then Haley was like, "Why? I thought you wanted the Lions to win." I was like, "I do, but I'm rooting for the Commanders because I want them to keep it close."
Yeah.
And it was like
they're a Maryland team, so I'm gonna root for the Commanders.
Yeah, and it was like halfway through the fourth, and I started turning into, okay, Lions, anytime now. But we got to talk about it. All right, Ben Johnson, as great as he is, all the praise we gave him. Well, what the hell were the Lions doing, having Jamison Williams throw the ball on the most important drive of the whole season?
Yeah,
that was a horrific play call.
I didn't even get to see that play call.
So it was snap the ball, jet sweep Amon-Ra. Amon-Ra tosses it to J-Mo, who's doing a double jet sweep, like the opposite direction. And then J-Mo's running, and then whoever was supposed to be, I think it was Laporta, or one of the receivers, like was supposed to be open, but he wasn't. So J-Mo said F it and threw it anyways, and it got intercepted.
So J-Mo threw an interception. Jared Goff had a couple too, though, didn't he?
Yeah. Did you see the play of Jared Goff getting leveled by Frankie Louvu?
Yeah, I think I did. I think I saw that on
Everyone said Jared Goff was concussed, and that's why he sucked afterwards. Which
Actually,
he could have been. He could have
probably
been.
is the truth, to be completely honest. You know, half these hits you get concussed on, and they still keep him in the game.
Remember, he came out for a little bit. Teddy Bridgewater got in. But that was an awesome game. That game was absolute cinema. I loved every second of it.
Yep.
But I'm gutted for Lions. But Lions had so many injuries. This wasn't going to be their year, no matter how badly myself and everyone else wanted it to be.
Yeah.
So just regroup, get everyone healthy, come back next year. They're going to have to replace both coordinators, so I'm interested to see how that goes.
You think they can go all the way with Jared, man? I know they believe in him, but I'm asking you.
With the amount of talent they have around him, they can. But if they start dropping like flies talent-wise, then no. Because they got the line, they got the receivers, they got the running backs. Like, they had everything you could ever want in offense. Now, if Jared, like, loses, like, J-Mo leaves, and, like, Gibbs leaves, and, like, they lose 2 offensive linemen, then no. But with the current roster they have now, if they just keep adding, I think they can do it.
Yeah.
But that is Commanders-Lions. So we got the Commanders facing the Eagles, because we had the Eagles and Rams, or the Rams versus Saquon Barkley, I should say.
Basically.
Dude, Saquon.
He went for 200 again.
Oh my God, that dude is so good.
Yeah, no, he's...
Did you watch that game?
Different. I watched the ending. So I saw, like, the fourth quarter.
Oh, geez. So you didn't even see it when it was, like, not snowing. It was crazy. When it was not snowing, the Eagles were actually blowing them out more.
I'm like, I saw some of the first, because I saw Saquon's, like, 60-yarder.
Yeah. So, like,
I watched a little bit
the
of it.
score was close, but it felt like the Eagles were dominating, and then the snow came, and then the Eagles started dominating scoreboard-wise as well.
Yeah, it felt like the Rams were playing catch up the whole game, which they were.
Yeah, and Cooper Kupp was non-existent again.
Yeah.
And Kyron fumbled, Stafford fumbled.
I
It
don't
was
think
crazy.
Stafford was that good this game either, though. I mean, stats wise, it's not terrible, but I'm just saying, like, watching, especially on that final drive, he was missing throws, and it was making me angry watching him.
Yeah, he didn't have a typical Stafford playoff performance, which they definitely needed against that team. What's your opinion on Jalen Hurts?
I don't think he's.
I think we're going to have the same
Amazing.
opinion, but just say it anyways.
I don't think he's amazing, but for what they want to do, I think he works for them.
I think he's a great passer. It's just he doesn't ever need to pass it.
That's not even me. Like everybody like we've seen that his passing has improved. We saw well, of course, you got Saquon this year. Last year they regressed a little bit, but the year before that, when they played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, that whole year
He should have won MVP of that Super Bowl, even though they lost.
He was lighting it up.
He was surgical
the whole year. So he can pass. That's not what I'm saying. But like you said, they don't really need him to do much just because their roster is so stacked. And if he does need to do it, it's like he can pass. The only thing with him is his decision making has been spotty for the past couple of seasons.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that stems from because, again, he's accurate with the ball. Like he's worked on that. He's good now. But it's just his decision making is crazy.
Yeah, I still think Jalen Hurts is top 10. It's just I don't think they need him to do much, so his stats don't really show it. But I think he's a good leader of the team. But he could be in trouble because he sounds like he's probably going to get another offensive coordinator because Kellen Moore is going to get the Cowboys job. So they're going to have to get another new offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
So I am worried about them in that regard. But I think him having Saquon is the best thing for him because now it's not all on him.
I agree.
So I would take if I didn't have Lamar Jackson, I would be happy with Jalen Hurts.
Speaking of Lamar Jackson, do you want me to start it off and then you just do your spiel, bro?
Yeah, get what you got to say. What you got to say.
In the great words of my linebacker Patrick Queen, we have your tickets ready, my friend.
You're one to talk.
You guys will be going to Cancun with us. I just want to say,
Hey, just remember who punched your ticket, buddy.
Hey, we all ended up at the same place, though. I just want to say thank you, Buffalo. I'm not going to rub it in too much because you didn't go too crazy on me with the Steelers, so I won't. I'm just going to say the Ravens played the Bills in the divisional round. Buffalo came out on top. I'm going to let Cole take it from here as this is his team. So begin, buddy.
All I'm going to say is, well, I have a lot more than this, but I'm going to lead with this. And I'm just going to say, off rip, pardon my French, but Buffalo, since you beat us, you better beat the fucking Chiefs. Non-negotiable. Make it worth it, okay? If you're going to break my heart like this, make it worth it, okay?
You know if they beat the Chiefs and go to the Super Bowl, they're going to lose. Because they always do. Buffalo doesn't win Super Bowls.
Normally, I am very anti whoever eliminates my teams in the playoffs. Like, I hope they lose the next round. But since they're playing the Chiefs, Josh Allen, you better make it worth my while, buddy. You better go into Kansas City and beat them. Because if you go into KC and lose, I'm going to be pissed.
Question.
Yeah.
Say this is very much hypothetical. Say that Bengals ended up making it, and they knocked either us out or you guys out. Don't know how it would have worked if they had made it. Don't know what seed they would have been. But
They would have been the 7th seed.
Okay, so they would have played KC.
They would have played Buffalo then KC.
Okay, so say that they knocked the Buffalo out. Somehow, some way, we knocked you out. Who would you root for in that divisional?
So it would be Texans versus Steelers, and then Chiefs versus Bengals.
Sorry, say AFC Championship. Say somehow AFC Championship was the Steelers.
Steelers Chiefs?
No, Steelers Bengals. Somehow. Some way.
Okay, so Steelers at 5 or at 6 would beat us. Bengals would beat the Bills. So then you play Houston and then beat Houston, and then Bengals play Chiefs, beat Chiefs, so then Bengals go to Pittsburgh for the AFC Championship.
And I know this will suck for you anyway because you would feel like a Giants fan in the sense of watching the Commanders, but
I mean, it's 6 and half a dozen for me. I mean, honestly, like low key, would rather low-key want the Steelers to win just to make my fiance happy. But if we take happy wife, happy life out of the equation, I would probably root for the Bengals just because I want Burrow to get his. But happy wife, happy life puts a massive thumb on the scale. So,
Yeah.
Believe me, it was very bittersweet for the Ravens to beat the Steelers last week.
Because it's like, yes, and you're also like, oh.
Yeah, right? Slept on the couch, boy. It's like, no. But
Yo, that would have been wild.
that would have been wild. But, no, in all reality, I would probably want the Bengals just in terms of, because I want Burrow to get his. But if the Steelers played the Chiefs, I would definitely I would openly want the Steelers. Because, like I said, ABC, anyone but the Chiefs. And that even includes the Steelers. I think the Chiefs and maybe even the Cowboys are like the only two teams that I would openly root for the Steelers.
Fair enough.
And the Browns.
Or if it was a scenario where we had to beat a certain team for y'all to make playoffs.
Oh, well then, yeah, obviously. Yeah. I would go...
You'd probably wear a freaking TJ jersey.
If that meant it got us to the playoffs.
Yo. All right. But going back to the game, what else did you want to say about the game? That was just a quick little...
I just want to put it on the record. Okay, death threats to Mark Andrews is completely absurd. I mean, we are talking about a children's game here. So saying that the man needs to die is absolutely out of pocket. Mm-hmm. With that being said, he absolutely screwed us.
I thought you were going to say he absolutely needs to die.
No.
I would have cried, bro.
No. Never. His life is obviously more important than any football game, but he absolutely screwed us
that's how
twice.
About to cry. Okay.
And then Lamar Jackson didn't play his best game.
You talking about Mark with the fumble and then the drop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lamar didn't play his best game. I don't understand why Derrick Henry only got 16 carries. I feel like he should have doubled that.
I also feel like me and you have been saying this all season.
Defense played good enough. Like, I don't really have many gripes against the defense. Like, obviously, I wish they could have held the Bills to less points, but it's not like they gave up a 40-burger. Mm-hmm. So.
And also, it's just because they capitalized off a turnover. It wasn't like they drove the length
right.
of the field.
But, like, Lamar just fumbling. Like, why are you switching hands with the ball when the dude is tackling you by your ankles? Mm-hmm. That's why he fumbled, and Von Miller scooped it and took off. That was so stupid. And then the interception he airmailed, that was like only his second interception all year. That was his fault.
Yeah.
And then same thing with Mark Andrews. Like Mark Andrews, like it didn't even look like he got punched. Really, it looks like he just flat out dropped it. Mm-hmm. So Mark Andrews, I don't want to say single-handedly, but he deserves a majority of the blame. Lamar deserves some, but not all. Because think of it, if Mark Andrews doesn't drop the 2-point, Lamar drove us down the field, 2-minute drive to tie the game.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there was 90 seconds left, so the Bills obviously could have easily went right down the field and kicked a field goal, but you never know what could have happened. Mm-hmm. But in terms, Lamar did his job, and he hit Mark Andrews for the 2-point conversion. Mark just dropped it. So
yeah, it
Lamar
literally hit him in the stomach/chest.
Right. So like at the end of the day, yeah, Lamar had two really bad turnovers, but at the end of the day, he put us in position to take it to overtime or even win it. Because like if the Bills go 3 and out, Ravens will have like 45 seconds to get in field goal range. So Lamar put us in position. So I don't blame him nearly as much as I do like Mark Andrews and the play calling. But once again, Ravens break my heart. What else is new?
I would also like to say shout out to Zach Orr.
He came along very nicely. I told people be patient with him. Nobody believed me.
I don't think it was his fault. You guys just had to put people in the right places. Well, I guess.
Oh no, it was definitely some of his fault.
Yeah, that's why I backtracked. I was like, well, I guess you could kind of say it was some of his fault. But no, once you guys got people where you were supposed to be and you got your confidence back,
and he learned how to actually play call.
But again, the first year play caller, he just had to learn. He's also what, like 32? Like man.
Yeah, and people forget Mike McDonald was. He was horrific his first year, and then second year he was on fire and became a head coach. Which I do think Zach Orr is going to be a head coach eventually. I just wonder if it's going to be in Baltimore or not.
You mean depending on how long Harbaugh has?
Man, I've been done with Harbaugh.
Man, I put it in a Tomlin situation. I don't think you are getting rid of him anytime soon, even if it may be the right thing to do.
Yeah, I unfortunately agree with you. I think it's the same thing as Tomlin. I don't think Harbaugh's a bad coach. I think his message has just gone stale.
Yeah, like when you've been somewhere for so long, sometimes it's just okay for a change of scenery. Like when you made the Andy and Philly comparison, and I thought that was amazing. Yeah, this is like that.
So that's pretty much all I have left about that. I mean, the Ravens not having Zay Flowers definitely made a huge impact on our offense. Mm-hmm. Ravens just need to keep beefing the O-line. We need to get another amazing receiver like Zay.
Yeah.
And then we need to just keep adding. Brandon Stevens is horrific at corner. So bad. He got torched 24/7 the past 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Get him out. He's a free agent. Good. I'm glad we didn't extend him last year because he wanted 20 mil last year. Get him out.
Yeah.
He is certified garbage. He stepped up a lot for us last year, but this year he was horrific. Get him out.
Bro said certified garbage.
Oh yeah, signed, sealed, and delivered garbage.
Yeah.
But the Ravens got some decisions to make. I don't really think we have any massive free agents this year, but we just need to figure out how we are going to continue to add. The draft's going to be huge for us. I wonder where we're going to go first round. I still think we need edge help. Still think we need offensive line help.
Mm-hmm.
Another
you guys
corner.
definitely need edge help, even though Matabike's not edge. He's a D tackle. And didn't Owe have an okay year this year?
Yeah, he had 10.5 sacks.
Yeah.
I'd keep him around for a good price.
I'm about to say, if he continues to come on, you still had Kyle Van Noy too, who.
Yeah, but he's 35. We can't keep counting on him.
Yeah, but he's still also averaging 10 sacks a season.
Yeah, but we can't keep counting on him.
That's true.
He
I
could
still
fall
think you
off
need
at
some
any
young
time.
blood in there, but you got maybe get I wouldn't draft one in the first unless it's somebody who you know is gonna make a bona fide impact.
Yeah.
Up front, I'd say you guys could wait till the second. If you guys were getting Abdul Carter, which I don't think you would, because I think
no,
he's top
not
5.
a chance.
No, I'm just saying, in the off chance, even though he's going top 5, that you would get Abdul Carter.
Kind of like the
that's when I would
situation
go.
with Wiggs last year, where he wasn't even on the Ravens board because they thought for sure he'd be gone.
Yeah, and then somehow he'd be there, then I'd snag him.
Remember, Nate Wiggins is the fastest NFL draft pick ever, in terms of the time it took to turn in the card.
Mm-hmm.
That pick was the fastest pick of all time.
Yeah.
That's not
like,
even-
Ravens are the Nate Wiggins.
Dude, that's not even me exaggerating. Like look it up. It's a legit stat. It's the fastest draft pick turned in of all time.
Nate Wiggins.
No, literally, they saw him on the board. They said, "Do we even need to talk about it? Call it in." But I got faith in EDC. He just needs to keep nailing draft picks because right now he's iffy. So I don't know. Ravens break my heart again. I'm kind of numb to all the playoff bullshit at this point because every year I feel like we lose in heartbreaking fashion.
Yeah.
So
In the same boat, you guys just go a little further than us, at least a game or two.
man, I'm just worried Lamar's never gonna get his.
Yeah. I mean, I saw a stat today, and this is the only reason I'm not worried. Now, your favorite quarterback of all time was 3-5, 7 years into his career.
Whoa,
Same as
not
Lamar.
my favorite.
Peyton
Not
Manning.
my favorite. Yeah, not my favorite. I mean,
Whoa, who's your favorite? Peyton Manning's your GOAT.
Yeah, that doesn't mean he's my favorite.
True. So who's your favorite then? If he's not your favorite,
Oh my God, you put me on the spot. My favorite quarterback of
if
all
he's not
time?
your favorite, I need to know.
I'll have to report back on terms of who's my actual favorite because I'm sure it'll be some bias in there.
Okay.
But
well, just to backtrack, Lamar's only 7 years in, so he still has plenty of time to win a ring.
yeah,
But I'm not gonna say that the window's not closing because it is.
I know that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah. But
That's why I kind of want Josh to get his this year, so that way he can kind of get his out of the way before their window closes.
Josh just needs a stable organization because I don't even think their team is the greatest.
Their organization is stable.
That's what I'm saying. They're just well coached. I put them in a different category because I don't think they're the most talented team out there. I just
No, not a chance.
That's what I'm saying. Josh just needs stability because now that he's came on as far as an individual talent, say you put him on the Eagles roster. You know what I'm saying? It'd be a different story. Josh is that's why he's MVP conversation. He probably will get it. I don't like the way people are talking about Lamar because I still feel like Lamar should have been it. But now that Josh has won it and voting's still going on, I assume that they're going to give it to Josh.
Oh, the voting wrapped up January 5th or 6th. It's been wrapped up.
So you think it's still Lamar?
It's going to be Lamar.
Okay.
And everyone's going to be pissed.
Because okay. And my thing is, I don't hear Josh Allen slander, and it kind of makes me upset.
It's because he doesn't have mainstream weapons, so they're like, "Oh, he's doing really good this year."
Yeah, and I just don't like the fact that I feel as though don't Josh and Lamar have the same record in playoffs?
I don't know about that. I'd have to get back to you.
I'm trying to think. So as far as that's concerned, it's not like Josh has won anything anyway. He's been to what, 1 or 2 AFC championships?
Yeah, I think this is his second one.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. He's 7-5 in playoffs, so he has a little bit of a better record. He has a running record, but it doesn't mean that it equated to anything.
Yeah.
So I I don't know, man. I just don't know why he's not getting slagged off the same way that Lamar does when it comes to the playoffs. Especially
Probably,
if you're going to put them in the same caliber quarterback.
yeah, probably just because he's actually winning and they don't really have that good of a roster. So people are like, oh, it must be because of him.
Yeah.
But
But was there anything else you wanted to say before we went to NFC AFC Championships preview?
nah, we can go into that. I said what I needed to say.
Sorry, bro. We always got next year until we don't.
Another 12-win washout in the playoffs. Hooray.
Yeah, another 10-7 year for us to get blown out in the first round. So we can start with Commanders Eagles. Was there any? What are your predictions for this game?
I mean, like, off rip, like, immediately go, oh, the Eagles are definitely winning this game. But, I mean, the Cardiac Commanders, man, if it's a one-score game in the fourth quarter, the Commanders will find a way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I see that. I think I would take Commanders +6. I would take Eagles to win, Commanders to cover.
Well, yeah, Commanders beat them in a shootout in the regular season, didn't they?
The only reason the Commanders beat the Eagles this year was because of Kenny Pickett.
Oh, that was the Kenny Pickett game.
Yeah.
They're going to play them tough. They just need to stop Saquon, and I think they'll have a good shot.
Yeah, I can easily see this being where the magic carpet ride ends, but at the same time, I can also see the Eagles, like, blowing it, too.
Yeah. Oh, I can definitely see the Eagles blowing it. They did against the Bucks last year.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, it's really tough, but I'll take Eagles win, Commanders cover.
I'm going to take a Commanders dub only because I've been rooting for them, and I do believe that they can win as long as they play like they're supposed to.
They absolutely can win. They just need to make it a one-score game in the fourth quarter, let Jaden Daniels do Jaden Daniels shit, and sell out.
He's going to be clutch. As long as they're within 7.
And just sell out to stop Saquon.
Yeah. If they're within 7 with, like, 3 minutes left and they got the ball, I'm saying Commanders win.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. All right, we got Bills and Chiefs. Ugh.
I think this one's very self-explanatory. This is always a primetime playoff matchup, and I feel like it's the same game every time we watch it. Very entertaining.
Dude, we've seen this game so many times in the playoffs the past few years.
After I saw that they didn't beat KC that one year, and they let Pat Mahomes kick a field goal, well, Pat Mahomes get down the field in 13 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
I was over it. So this is not really a matchup. I'm not really too excited for this matchup because we've seen it a couple of times now. I'm not saying it's not going to be a good game. I do think it'll still be a good game.
Oh, it'll be a great game.
I got Chiefs winning this one. I just don't. I would like Buffalo to win because I'm tired of seeing KC in the Super Bowl. Not as much as I don't hate them as much as I hated the Patriots because they've been more entertaining to watch for me only because I feel like we haven't been as good as I feel like it's obvious that we haven't been as good as we were in the 2010s. And the Patriots ruined that for me, which is why I have more of a hatred for the Patriots versus now where I know we're not contenders. So like I don't have as much of a hate for the KC for slapping us around every time we play them.
Right.
But yeah, if Buffalo wins, I think I'd be a little bit more excited about it. I just don't think they will.
Yeah, I'm going to pick KC to win and cover just because that's what I don't want to happen. But I'm going to be rooting full-hearted for the Bills.
Yeah.
But like I said, as soon as the playoffs were locked in, I said, watch. It's going to be Eagles and Chiefs in the Super Bowl because that's the Super Bowl I least want.
Yeah.
And sure enough, that's what it looks like we're going to get.
Yep.
It's bullshit. It sucks. I hate the Chiefs. I want literally anyone but the Chiefs. I don't want them getting a three-peat.
Yeah,
but it seems inevitable. I've been saying it for weeks. The Chiefs feel inevitable. So, whatever. Just give it to them. Don't even play the game. If you're just going to black magic, devil magic, whatever magic, referee bullshit them to a ring, just give it to them. Don't even play the games. Don't waste my time.
Yeah. I think it just goes back to them being as marketable as they are, especially since they've been winning, and also the Taylor Swift thing. So I think the NFL's going to cater to them, and they can't say they haven't been, especially since it's been proven, especially over this past season. It's been even worse than it's ever been this past season.
Yeah, I'm sick of the Chiefs. I'm so sick of the Chiefs.
Are you more sick of this dynasty or Tom Brady's? I love to hate Tom Brady's though. I'm not gonna lie. Now that I'm actually saying it, I can't believe I'm saying this. Now, did I want the Patriots to win? No, but I can't help but say that they were entertaining to watch. I don't know how they did it.
I think it's recency, but I think that's recency bias.
You think so?
I don't know. Like Gronk's more likable than Travis Kelce, and Brady. although he got the same calls Mahomes got, he never flopped. I felt like
I don't think so.
I don't think he ever
he's.
flopped.
I think Mahomes is the ultimate competitor too. I just think that it's getting to the point where because of the rule changes that he knows that there's other things he can get away with. Like, don't get me wrong, they made a whole rule for Tom Brady, so I'm not saying that he didn't get it either.
Right.
But I just mean with the way that the rules are now, I feel like Mahomes uses gamesmanship to his advantage, which I'm not saying is the worst thing to do, because if you can blur the lines and still, you know,
And it's just so annoying
to
because
your
they're in
advantage.
every single commercial.
Yeah.
Brady and Belichick were never in commercials.
That again, that's also where that was though, and just the
Yeah.
type of organization they ran. I don't think Bill's gonna let that happen. Which is
But
why
that's what
they're
I'm
all
saying.
doing podcasts and making money on freaking Insta and stuff like that. Even Bill's been making appearances, so I guess everything changes with time.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to get back to you on that because both teams have broke my heart a significant amount of times, and both teams have had me be like anyone but them.
I remember thinking that we were gonna upset the Chiefs after T.J. Watt proceeded to take a fumble back for a touchdown. Then we got absolutely murdered.
I remember thinking for sure last year was the year because we had them in our house.
Yeah,
Wrong.
it's been rough, man.
Yeah, it has been, but that just about does it for me. You got anything else you want to talk about?
I don't. We can wrap up. Just
All
want
right,
to say,
go for it.
thank you to the people as always. This was a fun one to do. I was very excited to talk about the stuff that we talked about today. I want to say thank you guys for rocking with us. I know this football season's coming to a close. Of course, we're going to cover the Super Bowl and do some other things with it, but we're going to try to do some different things. So you guys let us know in the comments on our TikTok, our IG, here on YouTube, whatever you want. You know, Spotify, anything. Let us know what you guys want. We'll cater to you guys. It's for you guys at the end of the day. We love doing this. I love doing it with my brother. But no, this was fun. I think that's all I got.
Yeah, same here. I enjoyed every part of it except for the Ravens recap for obvious reasons. But no, I look forward to it every day. I love doing this. I love going down this rabbit hole and through this journey. I love interacting with all the people and seeing what everyone has to say to my stuff. So I love doing this. This feels like my passion in life. So I'm very, very blessed to be able to do this. So
Absolutely.
Thank you all for following. Make sure you spread the word. Like, comment, subscribe.
Please do.
Follow us on all socials. We're getting into streaming. So keep eyes and ears out for that. We will be getting into that. So thank you all for everything, and we'll see you all next week. See ya.